Okay, this is a little bit different video than my typical dig videos, if you've seen any of them. Why, you've seen these machines. The really old videos had this machine in it, and it still digs and works great. It's very sloppy now because it's really worn. I actually wore out a dipper and they sent me another one which was the wrong color, so it has an orange dipper. And this 4200 still operates awesome. But the 360, that is an incredible machine. Incredible. Everything about that machine is, in my opinion, very quality, very well built. There is one weak spot on them, and I talked to a guy at an RC show that owns one, and he was like, yeah, it's a great machine. I said, yeah, except for one thing. He's like, the O-rings. And I said, yep. The cylinders on this, the O-rings tend to poop out. And it's not from debris in the fluid. I have good, clean, new fluid in it. I don't have any metal shavings from the pump or anything. They just, after a year of use, hard use, the O-rings just get tore up and give out on the ball. On this. This is the original cylinder to that. The piston ball that's down in here, you know, the pressure comes in here and it hits that ball, and there's an O-ring around it to keep the seal and pushes the ram out, and then fluid comes back in this way, pushes the ram back in, and when your O-ring goes to pot, it looks something like that. They just give out after so much use, and there's a lot of pressure going through there. And I looked it up to buy a replacement cylinder, and the only place that I could find it, they're hard to find. Only place I could find it, I think it was Eagle Machine, which they called this the small arm cylinder, which I don't understand that, where they got that, who let them name it that. This is a crowd cylinder for the dipper stick. It's not a small arm cylinder, but okay, whatever. They're 69 bucks a piece plus shipping, and I was going to do it, but they said you can't use a credit card or nothing. It has to be a bank transfer, and I've never done that, so I don't even know how to do that. I could call my buddy Frank Smith. He knows how to get everything and has probably gotten everything. But I thought instead, you know what? I got my 4200s here, and I've got some, it might even be a used cylinder. I wonder if these cylinders will cross. Are they, you know, the same length, you know, so on. And it turns out they will cross. They're the exact same hookup at the knuckle and on the boom, exactly the same width and bolt diameter that goes through the knuckle, and down at the base with, well, I probably should unzoom a little, bolt diameter and width, exact same mounts. The only difference is this cylinder is a teeny bit longer, and I mean it, I think it might be 1/8 of an inch longer. And I thought, well, I wonder if that will hold up to the pressure that this hoe puts out, because its dig force is a lot more than the old 4200 dig force. So I looked them up. I think it's due to the length of the dipper, actually. I looked up the replacement pump for this and the replacement pump for that, because that's the original pump in that. I did have to get a replacement in this. they look like it's exact same pump. So I put that cylinder on there, and I've been using it for about a week while I rebuilt the original cylinder that goes on it. And I'll explain a little bit later how to do it. It's not that bad to rebuild these. But when I put that on it, I thought, well, I'm going to test it out and make sure it'll hold up to the pressure of that pump, even though I think they're identical pumps. And see how it does. And it actually did awesome. The dig and rip force, same thing. Same as the original. Yeah, except for the color. You can't really tell it's not the original cylinder on there. Except for the color. And one other thing. How far it comes in. It's a little bit longer stroke, which means when it's all the way in, you can hit your fittings. On the original cylinder, it doesn't come in that far. It's about here. You'll scratch your boom up at the top, but it doesn't come close to your fittings. This one you can go right into the fittings. See, don't do that. And the other part is, it doesn't stretch quite as straight out, because the cylinder is like, I can't remember if it was an 1/8 inch longer or a little over an 1/8 inch longer, which, your reach is just a teeny bit shorter. But as far as operating, no problem. It's got the same amount of dig force as the original gray cylinder. So I hope this helps some people that might have run into a problem and their O-rings blew. The 4200 cylinders are easily available if you want to go that route to have as a backup. I think they're also $69, but you can get them, from RC 4-wheel drive. Or at least you used to be able to. I don't know if you still can, actually. I had this. I think it's a used cylinder, but it's working great. If you have any questions about that, leave them in a comment. Leave me a comment or questions. I'll try and answer them. My original 4200, the original one, still digs great. I did a video on that. This one still has, tremendous rip power and runs really smooth. The swing's really fast on it. Frank Smith, I got this off of him, and he put a faster swing motor, so it'll really move. The old original ones were really slow. And this is not slow at all. It can kind of get away from you. But, it's still very powerful. I have all my values up as high as they go, 120. And I just feather the sticks and do multiple functions at once. It makes it a lot smoother. If you just pull in on it, it'll go crazy. And you don't want that. If you did that in a real machine, it'd about throw you out of the seat. Trying to shake mud off your bucket, you bring it in close and shake it a little bit, and it throws you around. They both run great. The 360 is a fantastic machine. The 4200 is great. But that is a fantastic machine, and it weighs 62.3 pounds on a digital scale that Frank Smith had. I don't remember what that one weighs. It's a lot less, but the dig force in this is, it's got quite a bit more dig force than the old 4200. But the 4200 has more lift force. For some reason, it can outlift this, even though it weighs less. It can outlift it. Other than that, any questions on those, why, I'd be happy to answer them if I can. Just a real quick rundown of how you do this cylinder, how you rebuild it. if you have this machine and you've got problems and you shut the pump off and you see it bleeds in real easy, and it acts funny when you're trying to dig, you know, sometimes it'll go out fine, sometimes it won't hardly move, your O-ring is shot on the ball. If you don't have fluid coming around this joint right here, don't mess with this. If you do, you have to take that fitting out right there, unscrew it, take it out, and then you have to hold this down and unscrew this. This unscrews and there's an O-ring that goes in there. Otherwise, if you don't have to mess with it, don't, if it ain't leaking. Up here, if you notice you keep having fluid on your ram when you extend it and bring it in and it starts to dribble, there is a weep seal in here, an O-ring under this flange. And it's very simple to do. When you go to rebuild this cylinder, this unscrews. You unscrew the piece out of the shaft that actually bolts. It bolts through it onto your knuckle. Unscrew that, take these bolts out right here, the flange will slide off. Flange comes up, there's an O-ring in here that's your weep seal. Take this fitting off all the way out, and this unscrews off the barrel. There's an O-ring in here as well. And it'll get chewed up when you'll have to replace it. Unscrew that the whole way, all the way off, and pull it off. And then you can pull your ram all the way out, and you'll see the ball on the end of the rod. There's a ball with an O-ring that goes around it. And if it's bad, your O-ring will look like something like this. It'll be kind of torn and beat up and an obvious problem. Which you can see that that's got some obvious problems. It's ripped part way. It's tore up, and that's why the cylinder was acting so crazy. And it actually will make your other cylinders act crazy as well. After you get it rebuilt, it should be good to go. Mine lasted a year, about a year before that O-ring went to pot again, but I run mine hard and often. So I might wear mine out maybe a little faster than you will. But they're pretty easy to rebuild. After you get that in there, you gently put that back inside the barrel with the new O-ring on it, being careful not to chip or gouge the O-ring as you put it in. And then you replace that one and screw that on, and it screws all the way, and they're tight. That's why that's all scratched up. It is not easy unscrewing that. Once you get it lined up, put your fitting back in and tighten it, the gasket down in there. Tighten it, and then put your new O-ring in here. The weep seal O-ring, bolt that back down, and then of course you wouldn't put this on first. You can't get anything, can't get the flange back over it. You do it with this out of it and put your O-ring back in, put the flange back down, torque these down, you know, do them 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, nice and easy and even, and then torque them down. Then put your link back in that bolts into the knuckle. Tighten it down and put it back on, and you are in business, and it will run like a brand new machine with new O-rings in it. Mine lasted about a year. I don't know how. I've been running this replacement, the 4200 cylinder, for I think it's a little over a week now. And it's holding up great, and I think that's a used cylinder actually. It's holding up great, so the pressures are the same as far as I can tell. or they have to be close. Close enough where it's not making this thing fail. So that's all there is to it. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to try to answer them. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.